Okay, that seems to be working. Okay. So now as we go live here, we can also edit as a comment. And we can get another. Okay, that seems to be working. Okay. So now as we go live here, we can also edit as a comment. And we can get another. The audio. Take the title here. Copy. Save. Oops. And save the title. Boom. Let's put it in room again. Start recording. Paste special. Text. Okay. Got it as a text in my spreadsheet. Hold book one for now. I want to get it as text in my Word file. This is the title. I want to get the URL for this. Paste the URL in the spreadsheet. And paste the URL in my Word document. Now I want to take all the details and copy them. So this is the details of the presentation. Paste them in my Word folder. Okay. Meantime, you can go back to the meeting and start the meeting. Join the meeting and join it from a browser. So Zoom.
Entirely how you do is that you keep on improving. So it's not like a grade that you get on a test like 95. You keep on doing it and you keep on improving. Does that make sense? Yes? No? So it will give you a grade for performance. So you remember when I went to my practice, when I went to my adaptive practice, you should see your performance as well. But it's mainly for you on this part for the Wiley. You need to do it, and it's mainly for you, but you can see where it is, like Amelia, you can see here, Cameron 93, and then I can see, in this case, performance, it's mainly for you, and then productivity, if I look at it, you can see here that Shannon, right, proficiency, the hours spent, so those that are in yellow here had some problems with proficiency. So you can see for myself that I can reach out, or the TAs can reach out and say, are there issues that you need? And also that you can come back to me and say, this is the part that I don't understand. So that was that part of Blackboard for Wiley. So you need to do it. Your grade then is basically your improvement. So if you've done well, that's great. If you keep on trying and improve, that's fine too. And it's for yourself to help you with the exam. Okay, so that's the Wiley Plus. PowerPoints and documents. What I want you to, I'm gonna just go over today is about software, and we're gonna do some more software. So I'm gonna download the software. And for quizzes and assignments, you have 2 quizzes and assignments for next week. Ripley, are you paying attention?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we have 2 assignments for next week. We have quiz chapter 5 that goes along with the Wiley chapter 5 data. So I'm gonna edit the test options. I'm gonna make it available. I'm gonna add a new announcement, and I'm gonna keep it at 2 attempts. Again, this will be put into your grade book, this quiz. Every week you need to do going under quizzes and assignments. You have 2 attempts. The due date is going to be next week. Today is the 15th, and next week is the 22nd. Give you till 7:30. It'll be including your test and the grade center score calculations. And I'll submit. So you should see it on your end. So Ripley, if you can put in what's due then is quiz chapter 5.
Right, I just put in the 2. Is that it for them, or is there more?
No, not yet.
Okay.
And chapter 5, data knowledge management in Wiley. Plus, we'll have another exercise that we'll do in class together that it's called Automated Trading Systems Exercise, SMA, that stands for Sample Moving Average, or Simple Moving Average, back test and optimization. So let me make this available. And I'll go over that. And there's with it, there's a PowerPoint that goes with it. And we'll discuss that tonight. So did you put those in?
Yes, I put the first 2 in, and then I'm going in now to add in the rest.
Right, the ATS, and put where they're located to, right, under the quizzes and the under the quizzes and assignments.
Okay, thank you.
And they're all due for next week. Okay, so let's talk about software then.
Is the automated trading system assignment on the same Ninja something platform?
Ninjatrader platform, yes it is. And I'm gonna go over it step by step with you. And then we're gonna do breakout rooms, and me and myself and all my teaching assistants will go into each group. Does that answer your question? And
Yeah.
help you with the assignment. So I'm not gonna leave you on your own just to float there. Okay? So who was asking me that?
Jacqueline.
Okay, Jacqueline, good. Okay, so when we talk about software, up to now we talked about hardware and we talked about software. There's what we call system software and application software. We need to know the difference between the two, between system software and application software. And we'll also talk about computer programs, programming documentation, system software, and application software. This chart is important for you guys to know. In the middle here is my hardware. And then I have something called system software. John, what is system software? You have a clue?
Not off the top of my head, but I can
Okay,
Google
so
it.
what would you think?
It's like the software you use, I guess. So like Mac OS or like Windows.
Right, it's basically the operating system. You have a phone? What phone do you have?
I have an iPhone.
iPhone, does it have an operating system?
Yes.
Yeah, what operating system does iPhone have?
iOS.
iOS, the I, right? And OS, what do you think OS stands for? Operating system. What is it? In order to have any apps on my phone to run, it first needs to have an operating system. Have you ever seen that what's another operating system for another phone? Samsung has what operating system? Anybody can help him? What does Samsung have?
Android.
Android, right? When you download software, they ask you, is it for iOS or is it for Android? They're two separate operating systems. On laptops, the most popular one is what? Is if you have a Mac, you're going to have Mac OS, right? The operating system. And if it's PCs right now, it's what? It would be what?
Windows.
Windows. So we have Windows, right? Those are operating system. What is an operating system? It basically is software that allows, whenever I type something, that will appear then on the screen, that will make my way in which I can then use my mouse. I can send it to a printer. I can send up to the cloud. All of this will allow my entire computer system, my phone, to operate as a system. So after I need the hardware, any type of hardware, I have systems software. So even when, you remember we talked about IoT? Remember when we talked about Ring or the refrigerators? Do any of those IoTs, they also have system software. They may have different system software. They may even have what a lot of times Linux. Anybody hear about Linux? Linux is another system software. So you say to yourself, why do I care? We care. Why? We're going to be able to care because in order to run any of the application software, it has to match the system software. So when Jacqueline, when we want to run Ninja Trading platform, it ran on what operating system? Do you remember? It ran on Windows operating system. Remember, why are we, those of you, what do you have, a Mac or a Windows machine, Jacqueline?
I work, like my computer's Apple, so I had a download.
So you have Mac OS. So does it run Windows? You could install Windows as another segment in your computer, and you could run Windows, or you can, as we were doing before, you can run on remotely on another computer to use its applications. That's the system software. The outer end here, right? My outer end that I have right here is called what? Sule, is what? It's called application software. And what is, give me an example of application software, Sule.
Application software, wouldn't that be like Excel?
Excel is one.
Or
Good.
like
What else is another application?
Microsoft Office, like
Microsoft Office. What did we use last week for exercise?
we use Ninjatrader.
We use Ninjatrader. So it's Ninjatrader. This is a great question for you, so that you're on a roll. Is Ninjatrader hardware, system software, and application software?
It's a application software.
It's an application software that runs on what system software? What operating system? Here, just we can add the word operating systems in front of that. In front of what?
It runs on Microsoft.
Microsoft what?
Office.
No, Microsoft what?
Microsoft Excel.
Operating, what operating system is it? Who can tell me?
Microsoft Windows.
Windows, right? Microsoft Windows operating system. Now Microsoft now has a cloud system called Azure. So they say, you know, the whole world doesn't run on Windows. We'll accept other operating systems to run on the cloud. But the major operating system Windows Microsoft uses is Windows.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, and the application, so some application, so what Microsoft does is they have applications that will run on Mac and run on Windows operating systems. So they'll make two versions. And a lot of times, and other times you can run software. Basically, you can run those, but it's important that you know what application software is doing versus the system software. And then we have something in terms of what we have in software issues is many times either we have what we call open source software. And what is open source software? Any ideas?
Isn't it the software that you can download for free and you can kind of mess with and work with?
Well, it's mess with. It means that open source means this. You can put this in your notes here. Open source means that the source code, basically the code to the software, is available to end users. And they can see the source code and they can make changes to the source code. Now on Mac OS and Windows, most of the time it was not open source software. And usually open source software, where when we think about open source software, it'll be available and it's free, but people basically, as a community, make changes to it. Anybody, Emily, have you ever been on Wikipedia?
Yes.
And what did they do? In Wikipedia, it's almost in which they say, think about Wikipedia, it's a good analogy. Why? Because end users can do what? They can edit Wikipedia. They have other people that monitor it, right? But it's a community-based driven software. So think about open open source software like Wikipedia. Does that help, Emily? So we can think about that end. And what we talk about application software, we can think about what happened here. I just got another screen. So let me just exit here. Let me just go here and let me just get to another. It looks like I see someone else's screen. Hold on. Let me just make sure here. I'm seeing your screen.
You know that it's all.
Can you please?
I'm trying to stop it.
So it looked like we had someone here. Okay, do you hear me? Yes? Ripley, do you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Yeah, good. We had some technical difficulties here. So in application software, then what's an example, Bryce, of what we used for application software last week?
Was that the Ninjatrader?
Ninjatrader platform is an application software. Why do they call it apply? Because it's going to meet a need, and usually application software, you can think about it, it meets our needs to do a certain task. You're all the time using application software, constantly. Whether we talk about you're using Office Suite, you're using any type of software that you need, you're using accounting software. We're always using any kind of accounting software. We're using what they call application software. Speech recognition, voice recognition, data management systems, they're all what we call application software. And for tonight, we're going to look at some application software. And we know that the area of personal application software, whether we're talking about Google Docs or we're going to be talking about any presentation software, or we'll talk about personal finance, these are all software programs that we use. And programs that are used are using what we call source code. What is source code? Source code are the instructions to the computer, right, of a programming language. In a programming language, that is the back end of software. Questions? We got that done, and we know the difference then between operating systems and others. Okay. Now let me go to, just to see what I have here. See my screen? So let's go now.
Professor,
Everybody's-
I don't know if you meant to or not, but you're not sharing your screen.
I'm not sharing my screen, thank you. That helps, huh? Somebody else took over my screen and I'm not sharing. Let's try this. Okay. You see my screen now, Ripley?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, now let me just see if you can see this as well. We'll go to Blackboard. Do you see this? Ripley, do you see this?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. If I go to KL1 Audit, and I go to Groups, and let me just do one more thing. Let me just go back one. KL1, the regular one. So tonight's exercise that we're going to do, if we go to quizzes and assignments, it says that we're going to do what we say here is we're going to do strategy analyzer, sample MA called moving average crossover. And what we want to try to do is discover the highest percent profit per month for a public company. So let me go back to the audit area where everybody did their group work. I'm going to go to audit. I'm going to go to groups. And in group, I'm going to go to group 1. I have CJ, Brandon, Sophia, and Roxy. Public, they have already created a Zoom collaboration, screencasting, where they put in QuickTime, Jump Start, Loom, and Snagit. And then they have trading strategy, and in their trading strategy, Sophia came up and she used Nike, and she used the sample MA crossover, and she got an overall for 4% per profit per month. So Sophia, you're here?
Yes.
Good. So Sophia, how do you think that rates to a bank? What do you get in a bank if you put your money in a savings account in the bank? Sophia?
4.09%.
Right. What? How much?
The 4.09%.
That's for Nike, but if you put your money in a bank account, in a savings account.
Not that much.
What? How much? Not even 1% a year.
Yeah.
This is 4% a month, so it's at least what? It's over 40%, right? A year, 40, 44, 48, and then Roxy, you got 3.6, and CJ has what was CJ? 1.35, and Braden has what? 0.63. So Braden, basically we have to come up, Braden, don't you think, Braden, we need to get yours up higher?
We gotta do something about that.
We gotta do something, because it's really not, if we're gonna have the automated trading system, we wanna do something. So my trade here, and if you can put that in, is what I wanna do is I wanna see if I can increase these numbers. And everyone else should have their own, right, that you did. And the question is, part of it, we were talking about trading system, and I want, when I'm going to be doing this, I want also my TAs to do this as well. When I'm going to be talking about it, part of it, we can see that the human is going to be trying to get this harder, but what can work faster for me? A human or a computer if I give it rules? The computer usually can work. I want the computer to do what it does well, and I want the humans to do its part. So let's do this. Let's try then to go with me to see how this works. So Sophia, do you want to be my partner tonight? It's up to you.
Sure.
Okay, so you're going to be my partner tonight, Sophia, and we're going to do this. Together. You did such a nice job before. I was telling you of setting, even in terms of your screencasting. So what's the first thing we're going to need to do, Sophia? Is we'll go back to Blackboard. I'll go to my regular K1 section. Everybody can do this with me. I can go to my web links. I can find it in a number of different places. I can go to my web links. And what I want to do in my web links, remember, I'm in my regular session. I want to go to my web links and I want to get access. I'm going to access my remote lab with you tonight to see what are the issues that I need to do. So what's our goal here, Sophia? Our goal is what? Is to boost what? My profit per month. My goal is to maximize it. I don't want to minimize it. I don't want to have negative. And we were talking about it, Brandon, what is that that point, whatever, less than 1%, we definitely don't want, but we really always want to maximize it. And it may be not one company, there may be a group of companies to do. Okay, so let's try to do access remote. We have issues, you can see that all the time, right? And when we do, we'll work through it. So I'm going to access your remote. Those of you have Windows on your own machines, you can try to do that as well. So we have our access of our remote. And what I want to do, I want to let you know what this is so we can understand the concepts and how it's going to make sense to us in business. We're all now, the whole world is not even working in their office space. We at the university, number of our labs are even closed. Even though we're having some classes in physical buildings, a lot of our computer labs are closed because we can't do the proper distancing. A number of our students are throughout the whole world, so they can't physically be there. So what we've done is when our automated trading system platform is called Ninjatrader. There are many automated trading platforms. We're using Ninjatrader that requires a Windows operating system. So we are having the software reside on the computers, computers that have Windows in remote labs through the Coral Gables campus. The remote lab service is an experimental service. And you see here, experimental service. So John, when we're trying to work out our problems, it was experimental service. We want to document it and see what was the problem. And that provides remote students, we're remote, because our class now is on Zoom. Remote students the capabilities to connect to a physical computer on campus, our Coral Gables campus, and access all the software. See how it says software that is available in the computer labs. And they're telling me right now, I've asked the IT group to install Ninjatrader, just like some of you installed on your own machines, to install it on the campus computers. So we have to check where's the availability. And they're telling me that the availability here, that in the Richters, there's 9 people in use, right? And there's 1 person in use in the computers. I'm gonna try to connect these 2 computers, the residence hall and Richter Information Commons is where Ninjatrader resides. They did not put it in Richter Digital Scholars Lab. Only these 2. So some people, when they said residence halls, the residence halls may be a bit faster, or we have it in Richter's Information Commons. So I'd like you all to connect to either the residence halls or Richter Information Commons, okay? And if there's not enough computers in residence hall, I would even do Richter's Information Commons. And we'll see what happens. And when I connect, I need to run a file that will get me remotely, another piece of software that will get me remotely into the labs. So I'm gonna open up that remote software. And it says I have to get a remote desktop connection. And in this case, my remote desktop connection, look at this. It's a remote computer, and the remote computer has an address. That address is 10.178.9.204. That's the remote computer. And guess what? It has a server, and it's a gateway to get me between my computer and the remote computer. And that, notice in the address, it says remote gateway number 2.it for information technology .miami.edu 444. And I'm going to connect. And now I need my phone in order to do my authentication, but they want my credentials to sign in. And they want my password. And let's see if it will let me in. Just because, and notice how slow it is. It's trying, normally when we connect to Gmail or another computer in the cloud, it's a lot faster. We'll see if I can connect.
Professor, we
Yes.
are not seeing the screen that the remote desktop, we're seeing the other screen that you have.
Oh, so let me know. Thank you very much. Yeah, I know, I hear it. Yeah, let me just, yeah, okay. So let me know ahead of time then, okay? So let me just stop sharing, let me share again. Yeah, so, okay. So I want to share my screen. Okay, so you see my screen, I say connect. Do you see it now?
We still see the web page.
Hold on.
I think if you click on the remote desktop connection, when you want to
Do you see it now?
No,
What do you see?
we still see your web page to connect to the remote labs, but I saw an option to share the remote
Yeah,
desktop.
let me just see. Hold on.
Go back to share
Oh, hold on.
and take some time for all
Yeah, hold on. University of Miami, let's see
to
here.
explain
Yeah,
basically then
yeah,
displays the other screen.
Okay.
You understand?
yeah. Let me see. Do you see it now? Let me just share my whole screen, hold on. Yeah. Do you see it, Abner? Abner?
And I want to see what's going to happen when you enter the.
Yeah, I am. I want to see too. You see this remote desktop connection?
Yeah,
Abner.
it's loading.
Yeah. You have it, Abner, on your screen? Yeah.
I can connect to it really quickly.
Yeah.
The delay becomes huge.
Yeah, okay. Do you see it?
Yes, now we can see it. We see the display.
Okay, disclaimer, okay. Yeah, so we're getting a delay here quite a bit because we're getting into the remote desktop that's giving us a big delay.
Load on the network.
Abner, you see my screen?
Yes, I see your screen.
Okay. So Sophia, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so Sophia, our goal tonight is to get a higher profit per month. One way we can do it, Sophia, is to find another company that has a higher profit per month. How could we do that?
We do the same thing we did last week, but we choose a different company.
Right, and let's think about the Dow 30. How many companies are in the Dow 30, you think, Sophia?
30.
Wow, 30. And in the NASDAQ 100, how many do you think there are?
100.
Oh, wow, you're on a roll, Sophia. And for the S&P 500?
500.
500 companies. So let's say I gave you an assignment, Sophia, I want you to go through and check the Dow 30 to see if you'll find a company that has a larger than 30. I have larger than, what was it, 94? What was the percentage you had?
I think it was 4.09.
4.09. So how many, and if you looked at the Dow 30, how many times would you have to do that?
30.
30 times. And if it was 100, you'd have to do it 100 times. And if you had it doing 500,
500.
you'd have to do it 500 times. Now, do you think that's a good use of your time?
No.
No. So we're going to find out, first of all, how we can do it. The other thing, Sophia, what was you remember what the fast and the slow was and the parameters that we used? We used, you remember the 10 and 25?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, good. So do you see my screen, Sophia?
Yes.
Okay. So with that screen represents where?
The desktop computer from the lab.
The desktop computer from the lab on campus. And I am now logging into the desktop computer in the lab in the campus, and that's why the connection was so slow. You see, we can do it. But what operating system is this running?
Windows.
Okay. Windows. So you can see here it's running Windows operating system. And even in the Windows operating system, I can go to the bottom here and type steps recorder. It has an app here, and I can start recording all the steps, the screen steps, just like I did screencasting. It's part of Windows, but it captures the screens and I can see it in a Windows environment and then bring it into Word and then edit it. So I can then change my settings, you see this? And I can do my recent screen capture, storing, and I can store it, let's say, to 999, and I can say, okay. And then I can say, start record. This looks very much like another screencasting program, Sophia, but the difference is it's going to be putting it into Word. And I can then document. Now I have Ninjatrader 8 64-bit. There's a 32-bit and a 64-bit. What do you think will hold more information, 32 or 64-bit?
64.
64. So I'm going to double click on this. And everybody can do the same thing that I'm doing. And this is what software that's simulated trading, that's acting as a simulated trading program. And I'm going to move this a little bit down. Now, before, I'm just going to go over a couple of things with you. You're on a roll. And whenever you want to, Sophia, you can ask another fellow student that agrees to take over. Okay, Sophia?
Okay, thank you.
Right? That you say, hey, this is way too much for me. Okay? So you can pass the ball to any of your teammates. Okay? So now, the first thing that I want to do always when I come, I want to connect and put this in your notes. Whenever you go into this trading platform, I always want to connect to where? To a data feed. So where do I go, Sophia?
New.
Well, I want to first get my connection. You see this
Oh.
little ball to the left? It's grayed out. I want this to be green. I want my data before I do any new chart or do anything. So if you ever get all zeros in your application, one of the tips here is to see what? That maybe my connections is not together. So I go to connections, and in this case, I want to do something that's free, and I want to do at this point end of day. That means that every day at the end of the day when the market closes, I get data. I could, for instance, even go to Yahoo Finance and get end of the day data as well and download it to my spreadsheets as well. But this trading platform by default has end of the day, and later on, if you did high frequency trading, I could get tick by tick data. But right now I want end of the day data. So what do I choose?
Kinetic end of day free.
Kinetic end of day. Very good. Everybody clear? That's the first thing I always do, because what do I want? I always want data, because if I don't have data, Sophia, this doesn't make any sense, does it?
No.
Because I won't be accessing it. There's nothing to chart. And now if I say new, I'm using the program that I'm recording in Steps Recorder. So now, and all I have to do is type in right here on the bottom, Steps Recorder in this bottom right here, and I'll see Steps Recorder. And I'm using this to record whatever I'm doing. What's nice here is, Sophia, if you get stuck, you just can then take this, save it, and then see what are the problems, and you can pass it on to someone else. I have this done. Now what do I want to do? I want to, then let me go and I'll do new chart.
Professor,
Yes.
for the recording, are you just doing that for us, or are we supposed to be doing that to submit it?
You can either. I'm doing it for you to see how you can use it. I
But we
suggest, you don't have to, but what I suggest sometimes is that when you're in another computer, you're like stuck and say, my goodness, I don't know. The other thing is to start running it even before you connect, and you can run it in your screencasting. Let me just stop this and I'll show you how it works. I'm going to stop recording. And you see here, I can review my additional details. And let me go look at how, you see this? Who just asked that question?
Jacqueline.
Jacqueline, you see this? How it records it to 10 steps. User left click on new text and control center orders. Step 9, you see how it makes a little box? And I could save this and I could read it into Word later on. Pretty
But
neat.
we don't need to be recording for the assignment.
No, but I'm
Okay.
just showing you how to do it.
Okay.
Perfect. It's good to know. It's part of your tooltip, but no. Okay. So if I save it, I could save this and give it a name. Then I could say, then what's today's date? 2/15/2021, and I could do then back test optimization. And it saves it as a zip file. And I could save it even if I wanted to, I could save it to my desktop. Good question, okay? And then I could do new recording again. Now, I want to do new chart. And what do we have there? Sophia, we had Nike.
Yes.
And Nike was what? Was it part of what?
The job.
I have here Nike, right? I have Nike. And the only other thing I have to do is this says Nike 1 minute. Is that correct?
I'm not sure.
Let's
Oh,
look
it was
at
in day.
what you corrected yourself, extra credit. Sophia, what did you say, Sophia?
We have to change the type to days.
You have to change the type to day. Why? Because we downloaded day data. And right now, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be showing you, I'm doing day data, and it says the end of the date, and it says 365, and I say, okay. And it loads my data here, right? And last time, I'm just reviewing what we did last time, okay? This is not going to be, this is going to be at this time right now. What I'm doing is I'm reviewing what we did last time so we can, you know, this is kind of like we threw you with like, Sophia, with like a hose, and I want to make sure that everyone does this. This means in August, what does it look like the trend was? It went up a little bit, right? And if I go back, right, let's see if I go backwards, this was, all of a sudden this is March. Look at this big dip here it's in March. What do you think that was from? Anyone else
Okay.
that you want to change over? Anyone else think what is that? Is Pace here?
Yeah, I'm here, Professor.
Yeah. So what do you think this is from, Pace?
It's the COVID sell-off.
Yeah, it's a COVID sell-off, right when COVID. You remember everybody freaked out, and you remember the NBA? All of a sudden the NBA isn't playing. Well, do you think the NBA now is it? Nobody's going to be going to all those games and getting those outfits. So it started going down. And then what did it do? It started basically kind of going sideways here. It got a big gap up, but up and down. And what does this now look like? We don't even know what's going to happen in the future. It's in February, kind of going this way. And then what did we end up doing here is we ended up doing a strategy called an SMA strategy. And a strategy, you can put this in your notes. What is a strategy? A strategy are like a number of formulas put together with logic. And you can think the logic is like if-then logic. So if I look at a strategy here, and what was the strategy we used before? The sample MA crossover. And notice it says fast 10 and slow 25. What that means is a sample MA crossover. What does that mean? Fast 10 and slow 25. Sophia, what do you think that means? You have any clue? What does fast 10 mean?
I'm not sure.
Okay. So Pace, do you have an idea? What does fast 10 mean?
Fast and slow moving averages.
Yes. And what does 10 mean?
Every 10 days, so that means every 25.
Right. So every 10 days, Sophia, every 10 days, it's going to take the average and it's going to smooth out this chart. And every 25 days, it's going to do another chart. So if I say, okay, I have to say, notice if I say, okay, I say apply, and then I say, okay. Notice I don't get any strategy here. Everybody see that? I don't have any strategy of telling me buy or sell, anything else. And if that happened, Pace, what would you think?
You forgot to enable something.
Right, you forgot to enable it. So I go back to my strategies, right? I click on my sample, and then you see right here, Sophia, you see where it says enabled? Sophia,
Yes.
you see that little checkbox? It's
Yes.
what? It's blank, I have to check it. And so put in your notes, if you don't see any strategy there, I have to apply, okay. And I'm gonna say okay. And I have a strategy here that basically what my strategy here is, I have one moving average that's gold. And when I click on the gold and I right click and look at properties, it tells me that gold is 10, every 10 days, it's doing a moving average. And this green right here, if I say properties, it's what? Every 25 days, it's a green. And the logic is whenever the fast, the logic of this is whenever the fast, which is the gold, crosses over and goes above this green. Let me just make my cross here that you can see it a little bit. You see this? Whenever my gold crosses above the green, this green straight line, I'm going to buy. And the logic is for short, whenever my gold goes below this green, I'm gonna bet that it's gonna go short. Or I'm gonna bet that it's gonna go down. And for performance, what do? Is I can go to strategy performance and go to real time and historical. And it looked like my all trades look well, but why do I not want Sophia to be in dollars? What's the problem with dollars when I do comparison between yours and anyone else in your group? What's the problem when I just look in dollars? Sophia?
You want to be in percent, so it's easier to follow.
It's easier to what? It's easier to compare.
Mhm.
If you took a test and you got, let's say, out of 300, you got one test, you got 290, and then you got another test where out of, let's say, 50, you got 25. It's difficult to make those comparisons. What we want to do is a percent, right? You want to say, oh, I got 90% on one test and I got 85% on the other. And it doesn't matter the number, right, of questions there were. You understand that, Sophia? So it's the same thing with this. I want to see how profitable it is. So how do you change it to percentage? I pull down this summary and I go to percent and I see percentages. And it looks like my long trades were better than my short trades were losing a bit. And my long trades were doing well. And if I look at my profit per month, it was 4.09%. Now, let me just go back a little bit for you so you can see this. I'm going to close this now. I'm going to do new chart. I'm going to go back to Nike. I'm in day. The type has to be day. I'm going to say okay. I have my chart, and let me just show you something. There's something here called strategies. You see that? But what did I say strategies were made up of? Strategies were made up of indicators. Indicators are like formulas. And what did you say what we're using? We're using what we call simple moving average. So either I can go to this icon, or I can right click and look at indicators. It will bring up all the available indicators I have. And in this place, I'm looking for SMA. I have SMA, and it says 14. But in this case, do you remember what my fast said and how many periods we were looking at? Sophia?
10 for fast, slow, 25.
Okay, so I'm going to put 10 here. And the color here, I'm going to keep it gold. You see how it says SMA and I have the color gold? You see that? And
Yes.
if I say apply and I say okay, this is an indicator that looks just like the fast that I had before. You see that, Sophia?
Yes.
Now, what else did I had two indicators. What was the other one? One was fast and what was the other one? You're on a roll,
Slow.
Sophia. Slow. So what do I need to do? I need to put another, I just want to show you, I want to put another indicator here. Or I can do right click, it doesn't matter, either way. I can get to anything either way. And what am I going to look for?
SMA.
SMA. So this is not an assignment that I want you to do for next time, but I want you to understand it. So now I'm going to do SMA, and I'm going to double click again to get it both in there. So in this case, it was 10 was 1, and now it says 14. What should I put instead of 14?
25.
25. And now I'm going to apply, and I'm going to do okay. But in this one, let me go to its properties. I'm right clicking, I'm going to properties. This was 10, which is okay. But this one below, this is 25. What's the problem with this? This has the same color. So it's difficult to tell between the two golds. What was the other color before we used?
Green.
What?
Green.
Green. So instead of even green, I'm going to make it a different color. You see this SMA? By default, it gives me SMA. I can change it to any color I want. I could program it, but it's easy here, right? You don't have to be a programmer, right, Sophia?
Right.
I can just change to any color. And let me just see here. I could even make it, if I wanted to, a dark cyan, right? So a teal. I could apply and say okay. And then once somebody, I'm trying to show you how they write strategies. Once they have these indicators, does the computer now, does Ninjatrader tell actually buy and sell, Sophia?
If you look at where they cross each other.
But they don't now, right? There's no commands to the computer. There's no commands for the computer to tell the computer buy and sell now. The human being is just looking at it, but it's not programmed. You don't see any buy and sell conditions. You look at it, but that's what our indicator would be, right? That if our fast was going down, right, we would short right here, right? And if our our fast goes above our green right here, we would do what?
Buy.
Buy. But is it doing it now? No. These are just indicators. And then later on, what you do is once people have indicators, then they program using source code to tell the computer if it's going a certain way, if it's crossing over and going down, I want the computer to short it, bet it's going down. And when it crosses above, I want the computer to buy. Do you understand, Sophia?
Yes.
So right now, just with these indicators, there's no trading. If I wanted, then before I would do this, either I could do a wizard to do this, or what people do is they write code to do it. So what is code? Code is called source code. And if I go, Pace, have you ever done any programming?
No, I have not.
Okay. So Sophia, do you want me to have Pace take over, or you want to keep on going?
I could keep going. It's okay.
Good, good. That's what I like, a lot of self-confidence, right, Sophia? So let's go. So in this case, Pace will do it. So Pace hasn't done any programming. Maybe it can be a team right now, okay? Is that okay, Sophia?
Yes.
So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at new, and I'm going to look at the source code. Put this in your notes here. What I can do is I can go, the source code can be written in programming languages. Have you ever heard of a programming language, Sophia?
Yes.
What programming language have you heard about?
I used an app called Python, I think, one time.
Python, perfect. Python is a programming language, and a lot of times Python even, Sophia, is used for a lot of these fintech programs.
Is what you're about to do the assignment?
Pardon?
Is what you're about to show what the assignment is?
Yeah. But I want to give you some background that you can understand it, okay? So in terms here, this Ninja script, in order to do the assignment, I'm going to show you some background that you understand what's happening, okay? Before we go specifically what we need to do, and I'm reviewing what we did last week. So in this case, when I want to go to Ninja script editor, Ninja script is the language for Ninjatrader. And they have an editor to look at the code. When I look at the code, we'll see if the code comes up. Right now, this is an editor. And under, let me just stop recording. And let me save. Let me just put here an A right here. And in this case, I'm going to go to strategies, and I'm going to go to which strategy? Which strategy? Sample MA crossover. And this is the source code. And everybody, when you were talking about in chapter 2GA, when we talked about source code, let me make the font bigger. This is the source code that someone wrote to do the SMA crossover. The only difference is they had something called SMA fast and slow. And what were the parameters? Sophia.
The fast was 10 and the slow was 25.
You see that in the code? So you can read the code right there. Even if you don't know any programming, right? You can see fast was 10, slow was 25. So if you wanted, we could change it in another place, but you could even change it right here in the code. But the most important is right down here. This is the logic. These lines right here. That says what? If the fast crosses above the slow, what do? Sophia?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question? It cut out.
Yeah, it says if cross above the fast SMA, crosses above the slow SMA, it tells the computer, gives the command enter long. Enter long means what?
The
Buy.
binds. Yes.
If it crosses below,
Sell.
what does it say to do? Enter a short. Now, how were your shorts for Nike? Did they do well?
I can't remember at the top of my head.
Yeah, they did poorly. They were negative. So what would you do? You would eliminate these two lines and you would run the program again. That's what people do when they modify their program.
Okay.
Okay? Does that help?
Yes, it does.
So now you see the source code, what we mean by source code, and now you see the charts. And now if I had a strategy here, let me just remove this. Let me remove these indicators. And now I'm going to run the strategy. And now you can see if I run the strategy and apply, I run the strategy. What did I do wrong? I didn't check off my enabled. And now I have it. And you see now, this right now is what the computer, I'm not telling it what to do. The computer tells the system, it tells the brokerage, go ahead and buy right. Go ahead and buy right at this point because they crossed over. Go ahead and shorten this time. And the dotted line means what? I made money or I lost money? Dotted green, Sophia.
You made money.
Made money. Dotted red means what?
You lost money.
Because it told me at this point when I closed my position, when it went up, it needed to, I was betting it was going down. So now this is where your assignment is. Jacqueline, when you were asking, what is my assignment? My assignment is now when I was doing this, when I got this for Nike, I saw it was 4.9, but I said, you know what? This 4.09, maybe I can do better. So pick another stock. I can do, let's say, Microsoft. So if I wanted to pick another stock, all I have to do is start typing. MS, and then I see Microsoft is right down here, MSFT. What happens now? It just loads Microsoft, and I can just do what? I can go to strategy performance. I can go to real time and historical. And I say, gee, if I look at this, I want to change this to percentage. And I'm going to look for profit per month. Anybody see the profit per month? Am I losing it or what? Profit per month. What's the profit per month for Microsoft with this strategy? Sophia.
Negative 1.38.
Is that good?
No.
No. I'm losing money. Might as well go to the beach together, right? Or do I want to do that? So I could keep on testing 500 times or 600 times or go through all my Dow 30 and try to keep by trial and error, go down all my stocks and try to find a larger percentage. That takes a long time, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So I want to find a better way to do that. So everybody understand what my exercise is. My exercise, and I put it in the PowerPoint here, my exercise is to find the best profit per month using the same strategy, SMA, crossover, 1025. So, you ready? You want to keep on going, Sophia?
Yes.
Good. So let's go for it. So I'm going to close this out, the chart. I'm going to close this out, the performance. And now we're going to begin our exercise. Any questions before I begin? So what's my goal right now? Tell me. Sophia, what I'm going to try to do? What's my objective?
To maximize the profit.
Profit per month. And find that symbol that will give me the profit per month. I want Ninjatrader, which is the software. Everybody understand me? I want Ninjatrader, the software, and I want my TAs to do this too with me. I want Ninjatrader, the software, to analyze the strategies to give me the best profit per month. So what I want to do is I want to go instead, I want to make sure that I'm connected. I'm connected to, my connection looks like it's good. You see the little green. So the first thing I want to do is connect to the internet. I want to connect to my data feed to see that I have end of day. I'm at the end of day. Now I want what they call a strategy analyzer. I want to go, instead of new chart, I want to go to new strategy analyzer. Do you see that? Sophia?
Yes.
Perfect. Now this has all zeros to the left. You see that? Let me make this bigger so you see this. This has all zeros. So I got here how? I got here by going to new strategy analyzer. And I have summary percent and I have all zeros here. Why? Because I haven't done any instrument yet. So on the right-hand side, I have something called settings, and I want to do backtest. So I'm going to leave backtest type under backtest. And my strategy, which strategy did I want to use? Sophia? The sample MA crossover. So everybody with me. I have backtest on my strategy analyzer. I have sample MA crossover. I'm going to keep it at 1025. And I want to select my instrument. This is new. I want to select my instrument. Now I could do Nike, and I did do Microsoft. And if I go to the Dow 30, what I could do is I could pick one by one. I could pick Apple, and then AXP, and then BA, and then CAT, and then SSCO, Disney, Dow, IBM. I could do all 30 separately, Sophia. And from there, I could do the I could look at what? I could look at the profit per month and find the best one. But what I'm saying, Sophia, is that would take a lot of time and waste my time. And then you see here, I have NASDAQ 100. You told me I have 100. I could try out these 100, and S&P 500. I could try out all these 500. Let me know if you want to do this for home. And I'll tell you, I don't want to do this for home. I know how to do it one time, right, Sophia? Why not let the computer run it for me, and it find for me what's going to be my profit per month? You understand what my objective is?
I do.
So what do you think, let's start with the Dow let's start with the Dow anyway. So here's my instrument, the Dow 30. What do you think? What can I do?
Maybe select all.
Wow, maybe you're right. Maybe select all. And what does it say? Dow 30. The price is last. The type, what about the type?
Days.
Look at that. Everything's easy when you know it, right? But I want you to understand why you know it. Why you're doing day? Because you did the connection at the end of day. Had you done minute data, you would have kept it in minute. Had you done tick data, you would have kept it at tick data. And here, by default, put a note here, by default, it's going from January to February. But what did we do when we compared? We can't compare 1 month here, and when you did it last week, you had it what? For a whole year. So instead, what do I want? I want this to be starting date. Today, it's good 2/14. But what do I want to be starting date to be? A year back, right? Of February. So I'm going to go back a year. To the 14th. So put a note here. I want the start date to be 365 days, 2/14 to 20, 2/14 here. I'm going to leave everything the same. So all I have to do is run this, and what's it going to do? It's going to run how many companies?
30.
30. What should I do to run it?
Press run.
And notice what it says. How many iterations is it doing? It does 30 iterations. And if I did the S&P 500, it would do 50 times. And now this is a percent, but this is another point I want to do. I want profit per month up here. Here's the instrument. I want profit per month, but I don't have, by default, I don't have profit per month. So put this in your notes. I'm going to right click. I'm going to go to properties. And I want to go to column results. I want to look at column results. And under column results, I want to click backtest type. I'm going to click on the date. Right, I don't have anything here. Everything else here in the column results are all blank. I want to do backtest type, the date, the end date. I'm going to take out all of these gross profit. I want the instrument. What else do I want? I want the parameters. I don't need the performance. I can take that out. But what do I want? Sophia, what do I definitely want to check off?
Price per month.
Profit per month. Right, and then I have, and I wanted the start date too. So right here then, let me review. Column results, I just right click to make sure I have it. I have my backtest type. I have my date. I have my end date. I have my instrument. I have my max drawdown, my parameters, my percent profitable, my profit per month, and my start date. And under summary, I see what I have here. And my column analysis, I want to see my profit. Under my column analysis, I want to see profit per month. I'll keep everything. I just want to make sure I have profit per month. And now I say apply. And now I say okay. And now this is kind of a quirk in Ninjatrader. You see how this says dollars? I'm going to go back to my display summary and I'm going to put this as currency, and then I'm going to go back to percent. And it changed it to percent. Everybody see that? There's a little quirk. Once I start putting profit per month, by default, it puts it in as dollars. Now, this is just like an Excel spreadsheet. What turns out to be profit per month is not Nike, but XOM. So these three companies, Exxon, Nike, Apple, HD, and Disney, become the highest. So what do I want to do? And then if I look at profit per month here, you can see here I have 4.93%. But this is basically what I want just right here. And notice if I went up, see my long trades look good. My short trades look good. So all of it looks pretty good. And now what I want to do, I can just do right click and do what? Export to where? I can do it to even my desktop. And then I want to give it the name, right? And the name is going to be then what? I'm going to do the Dow
Professor,
30.
Professor,
Yes.
I'm sorry. When you were showing, I think it was XOM at the top along with, Nike, how did you get all of those to be in that order?
It did it in the order. I made profit per month right here. Let me just show you. Ask me questions. Basically, when I ran the program, and you remember when I just said here, I just did right click and I looked at before, when I did it, I had, when I put this in right here, when I looked at properties, remember when I looked at my results, I made sure in my results that I would have profit per month. Do you remember that? Who asked me that question?
Jacqueline.
Jacqueline, you see here profit per month? I checked off profit per month.
Yeah, no, I see that. And I have it checked off, but it didn't do that for me.
Okay, well,
Yeah, the same
look at it.
problem.
I'll look at it. Don't worry about it. I'll look at it I'll look at it when we break out. Okay? But make sure that it's in this, it's under the properties, that make sure that it's under columns results. Jacqueline, make sure it's under columns. Does it say columns results?
Yeah, I'm under column results and I have profit per month as well as profit factor. What else under?
Okay, so uncheck profit factor.
Okay, so I have parameters, percent profitable, and profit per month.
Right. And then apply and say okay.
Yeah, and it's still, I'm still
Okay,
not getting
I'll check it out.
Okay.
It's difficult for me right now to see it. But right now, and then once I have my profit per month, I'm going to double click to make sure that I have it set like this, where I have my Exxon, Nike, and Apple. And now what do? I'm just going to right click. I'm going to export it. And I'm going to give it then that this is going to be what? XOM, right? And it's 4.93%. and it's the Dow 30 SMA, and what is it? 1025, and my name. Okay, and then I save it. And it should bring it up to Excel, right? And I should see then my date here, the start date, the end, and I have my profit per month just like it came in. And then I would add also with this, I'd add my name here. And I would also make sure that I would have here, then XOM turns out to be the best, and 4.93%. And here I could even change the sheet, rename it, and I could do then XOM 4.93%. I'm going to do 1025. And I could then save it to my desktop, and then I'll email it to me or whatever I do. Okay? Questions, Sophia? Anyone else with questions? Just on the process of it. How you doing, Sophia?
I'm doing good. I don't have a question.
Okay, next. So we got that, right? And I saved it, and now I'm going to do the exact same thing as I did the last homework assignment. I'm going to email it to myself. The next part. Remember when I did Nike before, and it was 1025? Sophia,
Yes.
what happens this is the Nike, and I did the strategy. $5.25 and enable. What happens if I change it? You know what I want to change it to? I want to see how it works maybe on 9/26 or on 8/27 or 7. Maybe I want to go everywhere from the fast between 5 and 15 and slow, let's say 20 to 35. And I want to find what is the best combination for Nike between, they will give me the best parameters. Do you understand that, Sophia?
Yes.
What do you understand?
That we want to change the slow and fast to see when the profit was best. Find what
when my profit per month is best. So what would I have to do? I would have to go through all those combinations. 5 and 25, 5 and 24, 5 and, you understand?
Yes.
It would take me what? Dozens and dozens of times. And let's say I wanted to do that, plus I wanted to do all the Dow 30. Find me the best combination, fast and slow, with all the Dow 30. Find me the best combination, Sophia, fast and slow for the Dow, for the S&P 500.
That would take too much time.
So what you're gonna do, if somebody asks you to do that, I'll show you how to do it, and you'll tell them I'll charge you by the hour. And you say, oh, it looks like, you'll ask somebody, how long does that take me? Oh, I think it'll take me about a couple of days, right? So there must be a better way to do it, right? So what do you think I need to go? instead of this chart, I want the strategy analyzer to do it for me. So where do I go? New, strategy analyzer. And instead, this is where I'm going. So Jacqueline, this is the second part, what I want you to do. So instead of back test, I want to go to optimization. I want Ninjatrader's algorithm optimization to find me the best fast and slow parameters for what strategy? The sample MA crossover. Everybody look at this. Backtest type optimization, strategy, sample MA crossover. Now, originally it's 10 and 25. Do you see that, Sophia?
Yes.
I say, let's go for the fast between 5 and 15. And let's go for the slow, because it's going to take more time, between 20 and let's say 30. But you can make up any ones that you want. You understand that? So for your testing, you can make anything up. So what I want is I want everybody to pick in your group another instrument. If you're going to be keeping the same instruments, then pick different fast and slow parameters. So this is how the syntax goes. This is the lower end, colon, upper end, go by step 1. So what do I want the lower end to be?
5.
Let's say 5. The upper end,
15.
15. The lower end to be what? 20. The upper end to be what, Sophia?
30.
30. I can make it whatever I want. 250 is not good. And make sure that it has the colons in between, right? That's the syntax. And selecting what instrument, I'm going to start off with selecting my instrument to be the Dow 30. Select all. I could do it just with Nike, right? And find the best one. And that would be interesting to see. But let me find the best one. And now, instead of type minute, I'm going to do what? Day.
So when we do the assignment ourselves, you want us to select all or pick one instrument?
I want you to pick one instrument, select all, get with your group and everybody pick another instrument. And if we have right here, we can see we have the Dow, the NASDAQ, and the S&P. So in this case, if you pick the same instrument, then change the fast and the slow, make it different, make it a different spaces between it.
Sounds good.
And then the only other thing I have to change here is what I have to make it a year. I want to look at it a year, right? February 14. I'll do 15. So what's it going to do? This is incredible, isn't it? I get so excited about it, don't you? In this case, Sophia, it's going to go through all the different combinations for me, rather than us sitting there all the night long.
That's great.
Isn't that fabulous? This is what a computer, this is what they call automated trading systems. This is what they call algo trading. Behind it is the scenes that you try to get really good strategies, but once you do it, once you have those strategies, then tell the computer, you go ahead and do all the different combinations. Can you imagine how quickly that was? Unless we charge them, they say, how long do you think it's gonna be? We'll charge you by the job, and you tell somebody, you know how long this was? And then now, now I have to see here, I have to do it again to make sure that I have percent profitable. I want to make sure that I have in the results, I'm going to do the same thing. It doesn't save it to me. By the way, I can do a template. By the way, you can do templates and it will save it for you. But right now, I'm just going to do this real quick. I'm going to show my properties. I'm going to go to my, later on I can do my other thing. I want to make sure that my profit per month is checked off here under my analysis, but I also want to go to my results. And I want to make sure my results are picked. I want to do, let's make sure that I have everything in my pick, the same kind of things that I had. I want my back test type. I want my date. I want my end date. I don't need my gross loss and my gross profit. I want my instrument. I want my parameters, that's for sure. Performance, I don't need my performance. I don't need my profit factor, but what do I need? My profit per month. And I want a start date, so it'll tell me where I stand. And then I want my strategy. I don't need the total net profit, it's okay. And now I want to apply. I want to say okay, and now I got now I have dollar signs. So how do I get rid of the dollar signs, Sophia?
Put it in currency and then change it back to percent.
Yeah, and then it's just, you know, a little quirk. And then you could sit there all day long if you don't know it, you know, and then do percent. And then now I just double click to get it in. Isn't this incredible? So what turns out to be the first? We thought Exxon was the first, but what turns out to be the first, Sophia?
Apple.
Apple with which parameters?
The crossover.
The crossover, which parameters?
The 15 to 30.
15 is fast and the slow is 30. Who knew that? And then you can make them wider, you know what I mean? You can make them smaller. We can start with 3, we can start with 4. We don't want to start with 1, right? Isn't that incredible? And then the XOM turns out to be the second one. Isn't that incredible? And we got much higher, the 5.7%. We're now doing the parameter. We know that the fast was the 15 days, right? And the 30 were the 30 days. And look at what we did. Did we increase your profit per month, Sophia?
Yes, we did.
So if you are a quant trader that you're starting out at 250,000 a year and you get commission, you'll get your commissions based on how well your strategy is doing. You want to maximize profit per month as well. Of course you do. What do you do now? Exact same thing. Export it, right? And now I'm able to say when I'm exporting it, I want to be able to say that this is optimization. And this is what's going to be Apple, right? I'm going to make it uppercase. And what is it going to be? SMA, what? 15, 30 at 5.70% and the name. Cool, huh? Same idea here. And I have it here, and I'm just going to make sure that I have my name. Right. I have everything in here, right? And I know that it was AOPL, SMA. What was it? It's going to be SMA 1530. And I know I had the sample and then.
Which columns do you,
Pardon?
which columns do you want the students to include?
I want this: back test, date, strategy, start date, end date, parameters. These are not so important, but, and profit per month. They can add additional ones if they want. But definitely the instrument, you can put in the chat, the back test, the date, strategy, start date, end date. Your parameters, right, are going to tell me the number. For instance, we're doing days, the number of fast days and the number of slow days, and the profit per month. Save it. And then compare it with your groups. And then save it to yourselves. And once I'm finished, right, I can close my Excel. I can close my Ninjatrader. Save, do you want to save workspace? No. And make sure that I log out properly. Then I can see my Ninjatrader 2. I should be able to see, right, my Ninjatrader grids here. Right, this is my back test, start dates, and my other one. Same idea. Instrument, back test, date, strategy, start date, end date, parameters, and the main thing I want to have is profit per month. One is back test and the other one is out per month. And then when I wanted to log off, disconnect, go quizzes and assignments, go to my PowerPoint for my ATS exercise. Notice here, my trading, I want a subfolder called backtest and optimization. The strategy analyzer sample MA crossover backtest. Objective: discover the highest % profit per month public company. Each person in the group choose a different instrument. Dow 30, NASDAQ 100, S&P, select all. Use the new strategy analyzer. Use Ninja platform with end of day backtest for a year. Select the strategy sample MA crossover 1025. Run the strategy and upload. This is the back test. And here is what I've asked you to do: the column headings, backtest strategy, parameters, number of trades. Export it, do the same thing, the top 3 ticker symbols, the strategy, name and parameters, the profit per month, ways to improve, and the backtest optimization that I just went over.
Do you mean that there are 3 different ticker symbols for one company, or put
No,
3?
the 3 top. The 3 top, that you'll know the 3 top, because a lot of times you just don't want to just do Apple. You want to do the 3 top ones. And Sophia, congratulations.
Thank you.
Made sense, no? Can you imagine doing it? My whole point is not even the clicks that we do, is what can the computer do for us that we can't just do manually? It's incredible. And just think how slow it was, and just think if we had a really fast computers and those connections, and every time it would be running, but what we need is humans to make sure that, you know, the environment hasn't been changing, and that we keep on, even though it's really doing well now, Sophia, that it will continue to do well. Do you think it's going to continue forever doing well in those strategies? No. Yeah, you need to keep on changing it. And the computer, and I'll show you next week how the computer will find the best strategies for you. We just picked SMA crossover. Is that the best one? Probably not. Right? There's hundreds of probably different strategies you can do. Let the computer start doing it. Finding the strategy combined with companies to invest in. Questions? So, what I'd like to do is let's just spend 15, 20 minutes in our breakout rooms just to make sure that everyone's having any issues on it. You can decide among your groups here. And it's basically a continuation of what we did last time. And then we'll come back and we'll meet, we'll take attendance, and then I'll answer any other questions. But what I want to gain is here that the computer is doing the buying and the selling. The computer is communicating with the brokerage firm. And what you're doing is you're going to be monitoring it and in the involvement. And there's different people involved. Some people will be writing the code. Some people will just be testing the code. You understand, Sophie? It's going to be a whole group together. That's not going to be one person. And one person be writing the code, and all they know is how to code, but they don't understand the tech industry, or they don't understand maybe what's happening now with COVID. We may have some physicians going in and saying, hey, you know, is it going to be Moderna? Is it going to be all these COVID kind of systems? You saw what happened in March. Now all of a sudden you see in which companies, tech companies did wonderful. Who was having problems were the airlines. And maybe airlines now will do better, you know. But those are the ideas, and for different ones, they have it. But this is built-in strategy that is built in already to Ninjatrader, and they're building it in as something very simple to use. And then now what else did you see, Sophie? Is you got to see source code. And you see that the source code is what? Just logic. If one is going above, then we're going to buy. If not, we're going to sell. And then they become more and more complicated. But in the beginning, it's just logic. And then you can see even how they're doing those indicators. Each of those indicators, then what does the strategy make up is a number of indicators, like formulas, put into logic. Just like you could do it, and I'll show you later on, we can just do the same thing in Excel. But what's good about Ninjatrader's, the software was just for doing that trading, and built-in trading that you could even hook into automatically into a brokerage firm and set up those accounts. And that's what that whole idea, all my finance people, that's what fintech is about. And later on, what's going to happen is then we'll have what we call artificial intelligence, machine learning, as the machine will start correcting itself. Because what do they know the objective is, Sophia? Maximize profit per month that we decide. Once it knows that 5 is greater than 4. Remember we talked about that CPU and the logic, it can figure that out. But then it can, and then later on you add additional things that I don't want to take so much risk. I want to start doing my stop losses, you know, after I start losing, I want to get out. And then you may want to have something manual, you know, there's a big crisis, you know, another COVID crash. You may even want them to even read the newspapers, you know, looking at text. And then they may be, I want to stop, hey, I'm going to stop this. I don't want to do this anymore. Okay, so let me get you out into breakout rooms. And how many breakout rooms, Avner?
1 second, let me check.
So it's a continuation of last week's, but saying that I'm giving more credit to the computer. I'm giving it more power to do. Selecting all. How many? Does that make sense, Avner? How many? 13, 12?
Yeah, 1 second, my computer is having some trouble.
Anybody know how many groups are there? Somebody can tell me.
We're 12.
12. I'm going to let participants choose the room. I'm going to open all rooms. So we'll try 20 minutes, and I'll go in, and my other people will go in as well.
Professor?
Yes.
So I've like followed you the entire time, so I think I'm like done with it, but you want us to put in our description top 3 ticker names and symbols, strategy
and their percentages, yes. And what's the profit per month, right?
Yeah, all that stuff. So since we have 2 separate like Ninjatrader things, which one do we do it for?
What are the things? You mean the optimization and the back test? Is that what you mean?
Oh, you want?
One's going to be for the back test, where you're just going to do SMA at 10, the SMA, the regular SMA, and then the optimization will take a number of different combinations.
So we're submitting 2 different things.
What?
We're submitting 2 different things.
One optimization, one back test.
Okay, thank you.
And make sure, Jacqueline, that you check with your group that you're doing something different than the rest of your group, because you want to be able to see if there were other people that got even better. So we're going to do like a competition to see who got the highest percentage. So you want to make sure, you want to get with your group to make sure. So has everybody joined the group? What's the problem?
I can't join my group for some reason.
Who is it?
This is Charlotte. I'm in group 2, but it won't let me join.
Okay. Everyone else have problems joining? So join your group.
Yes, I'm having issues also.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I'm having issues too. Okay, so what do you got? So Braden, what are you assigned to?
Group 1.
Okay. Okay, and Bryce?
7.
And Emily?
Group 2.
And Gustavo?
Group 11.
And Joshua? What group? And Mason?
Group 9, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Shannon? Shannon, what group are you in?
I'm in 28.
Hmm?
I can join it.
What group? What number do you want to join?
It's group 6.
6. Okay. Joshua seems like he got out. Did you join? Ripley, what's going on?
Hey, sorry, I'm just moving. I went to rooms 4, 8, and 9. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go to 7 next, but I'm just trying to relocate
Okay.
real quick. So
Okay, good.
but yes, and then everyone
So
seems to be doing
Did
very
you,
well.
did you do it with me when I was going through the assignment?
My computer was taking a lot longer, so what I did, I wrote down all the steps so I
Okay,
can do
so
it.
do it this week. So this way it'll be something that you have underneath your belt, Ripley.
Right. Yes. So like once, yeah. So I can do it like probably tomorrow.
Yeah, no, and then that way you can
Wednesday
help
it'll be
other
open.
students. Plus, it's good for yourself. You know what I mean?
Exactly, yes. Yeah, all the groups seem to be doing very well in it.
Yeah. So they gonna, but it's fantastic that you're able to do all of it.
Okay, I'm gonna go to another breakout room.
Okay, great. so, guys. Questions, comments? So what did you learn, Cameron?
How to alter my parameters.
What?
How to alter my parameters.
Okay. And and who cares? Out of the whole thing, when you say something, guess what I learned today, right? I altered my parameters, and who cares? What does that mean?
I can like find the most efficient combination.
You don't have to manually try every combination. Let the computer try every combination. What do you have to sit there and do it? That's the beauty. And then later on, what I'll go over next week is, you remember we just did SMA? Is that the best strategy for certain companies? Probably not. Let the computer, Cameron, just like it comes up and tries all the different combinations for the parameters, a number of days of the simple moving average, let it come up with what will give me the highest profit per month and find me the best strategy. And everybody's racing to do that. Everybody in the world. And they all work in teams. You know, I have mathematicians, I have statisticians, I have finance people, I have people that know a certain industry, I have people monitoring just to see if the system's up and running. How many times are we getting our Wi-Fi going in and out? I certainly have. So just even to make sure that I back up, am I running these strategies really in just one computer? I probably would want, if I'm dealing with hundreds of millions of dollars, I would want then a number of systems running in parallel. And not even that, I want even my server, I want it to be right next to the NASDAQ. If I'm running and using NASDAQ stocks, Cameron, I want to be so close that if I'm really running high frequency trading, you saw how slow this was. This would be completely out of the question, right? But even if I had to wait a second or two, it's too long. I want to blink my eyes. And when I blink my eyes, I've already been trading thousands of shares. And you saw how we did the Excel. We had to name it and we had to save it and send it to us. Let the computer do that. The computer knows what trading strategy it did. The computer knows, right, what profit per month it did. Let it name the file, let it put it in, and let it put it on the dashboard on a site that I can see in real time how my strategies are doing. Cameron, I don't want to be wasting my time if I had thousands of spreadsheets, naming those spreadsheets and saving them and uploading it. Automate that part too. That's what we're talking about. Everything that the computer can automate and do well, I want it to do. Anything that humans can do well, I want them to do. Anything that the computer can do better, faster. That's what we want. We want to use technology for the good. That's what and if we have problems, we all have problems, we all have issues. What we want to do is problem solve, document, and then be able to, just like that is a problem step recorder, to basically go step by step in finding our issues and finding our problems. Once we know that, you know, a year from now, we're going to have different software, we're going to have different problems, but you'll know how to address those problems and how to manage people and how to manage problems. That's invaluable. Think about those skills. And that's what people want is, did you solve the problem? I don't care. We had so many problems here today, you know, my mouse didn't work, this didn't work. I was, you know, I can't get into the app store. Well, then we'll be creative to find other solutions and find it from your groups. And sometimes maybe we'll need to do remote connections And each person then with one computer will do the assignment and help each other. But I want everybody to have that confidence and have all the skills necessary to do it. And when one person is sick, help them out. And get them up to speed. One person has to miss class, has to have it, and then later on you can help them. That's how we have to figure out in this world, is help each other. And then motivate each other, and then evaluate your group. I don't want to see a group where, you know, half the people did it and the other half weren't quite sure. Go ahead, take an extra step and help them out. And then it'll be as a group as well. Done well. Okay? Any other comments, questions that you guys have for me?
When we upload these Excel sheets, the file that we make is supposed to be inside of our already existing, like
You'll make
Ninjatrader.
a separate subfolder. I put the name in the
Okay.
in the PowerPoint.
Okay, so a completely different.
It'll be a
folder or-
subfolder. It'll be under the, you know, trading strategy, and then you'll have another one on back test and optimization.
Okay,
And then
but
you can
all
even
under
put it
automated
in
trading
folder.
systems?
What? You know,
But all under automated trading systems folder. Okay, cool.
that's what we're
Thank you.
doing. And we're getting better and better, Andrew. You see that? In terms of getting in more in depth, what does it mean? That later on when you're even talking to somebody, what's your major? I forgot, Andrew.
Finance.
Finance. When they start talking about fintech, you have a clue. You know, and that's where it's going. It's all going there. It's all being automated, and they're going to be. And if you're not part of that, then you're out. You know, and then you're dealing even with the clients. It's all going towards that, because they can do there's some things that the computer can do better than humans, but it's a combination. That fintech is just going crazy. You know. And then we'll go over. Andrew will go over blockchain. You know, and Bitcoin and all that is you know, that whole institute. You see how blockchain is changing now. Even Miami all of a sudden is getting on the bandwagon. We'll talk about the pros and cons. Okay. Great. Anything else? So let's do attendance, huh?
Yeah, Professor, can you share your screen?
Yeah, sure. Love to. Okay, so I gotta find out my, let's see. Check in. Okay, so this is it, 8137. Sign in. If you need to stay with me. Issues, I'll be happy to talk to all of you. Otherwise, have a good night. We'll talk about data next week.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Professor.
My pleasure.
I had a slight issue, Professor.
Okay, what is it?
When I was trying to do the Ninjatrader stuff, I was doing everything that like the PowerPoint said to do and what you were showing.
Yeah.
But my screen would still just come up with zeros and like.
Did you hook to? Did you connect? Sometimes when it's zeros, you didn't connect.
Connect? How exactly do I connect?
You go to connection and you do kinetic, end of day.
Connections, kinetic, end of day. Oh.
Oh, when I hear, oh, I know something went right. This is wonderful. So put that as that's part of the rules. So that, right? That it's basically, when you get zeros, we know that one of the problems could possibly be the data feed.
All right, I'll be sure to write that down.
Yeah, write that down and share it with others.
Future
you know, it's almost on the things that can go wrong. And you can sit there all day long, so like, and if you don't know that one little thing, we weren't born with this stuff, right?
Exactly.
You know, but once you know now, that you'll never forget it. You know what I mean? And when somebody else comes in your group and says it, hey, it may not be the only reason. It's good enough. Glad that I could help.
Professor, should
Not always, but we'll find a solution, right?
Yep.
What's next? Next problem.
Me? Should I just figure out my work on the computers of the library? Should I just do that?
What do you mean figure out the computer? You mean go to the library physically?
Yeah, should I just physically go to the library and just try to do it on
The
this?
only thing is try it, but my concern is that they don't let anyone physically get into that lab in the library. But you can call the library and ask them.
Okay.
Or you're on campus, right?
Yes.
Done. So, and then the library's open, right?
Yes.
So go in and ask. You need to go into, what did they say? The Richter's Common Lab. Is it open? Somebody told me that it wasn't open. That's why they're allowing us to do that remote connection.
Okay.
Otherwise, what I would do, John, is to figure out is maybe tech support, call them. I don't know, and let them get into your computer. You know, they can do a remote login.
Yeah.
Call tech support for UM.
Yeah. Okay.
And try it. And the other thing is, like I said before, is share your screen with, do a Zoom session with your other team members.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you pick you do a certain, you do the Dow 30 and they do S&P 500. It takes about the same amount of time.
Okay. Sounds good.
You know, we'll find solutions, but at least now you know the problem. It seems there's something wrong with your mouse because it's not just mouse. And then you can see, maybe you can even try it with in Lakeside. You can try it with somebody else's computer.
Yeah.
You have people in your suite or something?
No, I live by myself.
Oh, you live by yourself, so maybe you can. I don't want to get you infected. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand.
You have to be safe too. But
Yes.
that's the easiest, is call tech support. And the other thing is work remotely with your group.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
And they'll help you. You help them, they help you.
Sounds good. Have a good night, Professor. Thank
My
you.
pleasure. Okay, so what's going on?
I was just wondering, do we each have to do 3 different companies in our group, or we do one each of us?
You basically, you'll take like S&P 500, or somebody will take S&P 500, and then somebody will take NASDAQ 100, and somebody will take Dow 30.
Okay. Okay, perfect.
And then if you have, how many people you have, Josh? You have 4?
3.
3, so it's perfect. Each
Yeah.
of you take a different one.
Yeah, perfect.
And then you can compare with each other and see who got the highest profit per month. Maybe you got the first, somebody else got the second, or the third. And then as a group, you can post it under your folder.
Okay.
Your top ones.
All right. Thank you so much.
My pleasure always.
All right. Have a good night.
Yeah. Okay, my group here. Did she leave? Ripley left, I imagine.
Yeah, I think Ripley left.
I think so too. Okay. So, what's going on, guys?
So I told all the groups that I got to that it's worthwhile for them to watch the recording of this class in order to see exactly how to do the assignment, because it was, a lot of information.
Yeah. The groups I went to, they managed your groups.
Yeah. I think that they learned from the first time you did this kind of thing that they should follow along in their own computers. So I think that's a lot more got them.
Yeah. So I got it. And then the recording will be done. So we've recorded it. So that worked out. The groups I were in, they were just kind of trying to figure out who will do NASDAQ, who will do S&P. But it's incredible. Did you see that, Kate? You basically can take all those combinations and have the computer run it. But you have to sit there and run through 500 different combinations. It's incredible. Okay, what in terms of with this the students, you can, I don't know how else, you know, in terms of the chat, you're moderating that, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna actually be meeting with I think 1 or 2 students tomorrow in terms of the first Ninjatrader assignment. They're a bit confused. You're gonna be Zooming with them.
Okay.
I already told them to reach out to your group and watch the recording of the class, but they said that they did, so I'm okay with it.
They reach out, and there are other people in their group. Did you go to their group and see how the other ones did?
I did not check that, no.
Okay, so before you meet with those people, do me a favor. This is good, Avner, and I don't know how you want to divide it up, is go to the audit sections for each of the group for Mondays and also for Wednesdays and see which groups had issues. You can see that real clearly.
How do we, just based on the submissions of their assignments?
Yeah, you can see, like, let me just share, I'll just show you. Let me just share my screen. See my screen?
Yeah.
You see my whole screen now?
I see your Blackboard screen.
Okay. You see audit? You see the audit?
Yeah.
You see groups?
Mm-hmm.
I go to group 1. Right? First of all, they Zoom, screencasting, trading strategy. See trading strategy?
Yeah.
I know these did well. You see Sonia, she get the ticker symbol, the strategy name right, the profit per month, long trades, short trades, the date, ways to improve, cut the short trades, avoid. See how everybody follows the exact same one?
Right.
If they're not doing this, first of all, tell them, number 1, go look at group 1. They've done an excellent job, right?
Professor, I'd stop recording now, I feel.
Okay. Thank you for reminding me.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Extra credit. Okay.
Oh, thanks.
You need all the credit you can. That was even good to record in there that they see it. Right? So what I would suggest is you have to work efficiently too. You guys have a lot of stuff to do, right, Kate? It's not, you know what I mean? And you have to be able to pass this on. So you see right there, I don't even have to look into their spreadsheet, but later on, and see how they wrote their spreadsheet, right? The time, Nike, SMA, I know it's 10.25. I know it's profit per month, 4%. I know who it was. Perfect job. Which group was this one? Do we even know? Was this Mondays or Wednesday night?
This was tonight.
I know this is tonight, but he wants to work with a group. Was it the Monday night?
Oh.
See here.
It doesn't matter, but you see, you know what I mean?
I think this is.
What?
I think this is for the one I'm meeting with is for Wednesday's class.
Okay, same idea. Right? That's why I picked Sophia tonight. You know what I mean? They did an excellent job. They had it. So that's what I would do is just look at that before you meet with them. You don't want to waste your time. You know what I mean? And you may want to do, I don't know if you want to do a call out before and then do so many Zoom meetings. You can just say, I'm doing a Zoom meeting this time. If you want to join me, you can. That way it saves your time too. You know, rather than 5 different meetings with them. Anything else? What else do I need? Okay. So that's what we're doing. The same thing I want them to do for next week, you know. So next week's assignment, group assignment then, would be the same thing once they got it here. Right, under trading strategies, they should have another folder underneath this, see, backtest and optimization. See that? And then they need to upload their things here, but already they have the backtest and optimization. And they'll do the same thing, then they'll have their issues. And sometimes
so can I even tell you know, this person, for example, but really any time this happens, can I tell them to look at other groups who did well? Like, hey, look at group 1 or group 7.
Yeah,
and then
sure.
see if they did something.
Yeah, but you have to look at it first to tell them what to look at. They don't even, they're right. Sometimes so clueless that they have no idea what they're supposed to do, for sure.
Okay.
That's why it's open. That's why it's an audit. They can't take their work, you know what I mean, just put their name on it. Right? But the idea is to see that, sure. But for anybody in those groups, from this tonight, come to look at group 1. Perfect. In the same one, you know. You can even take a picture of that. You know what I mean? Copy that and then show them this is what it's supposed, and this is what it's supposed to look like.
Okay, so I think that's all.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
Everybody looks exhausted. And then Juliana, what's going on? Okay, so I'll see you, Abner. And anything else? So what's on? Are you okay, Juliana?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Okay, did they contact you yet?
No, not yet. I'm just waiting on it. So we're gonna see how it goes.
Kate, Juliana had an internship interview, and they asked her, what did they ask her? They asked her, do you want to have some questions, or did you do an interesting project that you want to present? She said, which one should I do? And I said, what do you know about insurance? Give them your project. They don't know. And they were so impressed by her project that she did for the health information. It's similar to you, but she did it on healthcare.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. No, she told me about the interview, but I didn't know.
Yeah, so, but she showed, I said, you've done it. You've been grilled by me. There'll be nothing compared to me.
Yeah.
She did.
So,
She gained so much more confidence, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So sure. That's what I was pleased about. I said, for sure. When she told me you have an opportunity. I mean, you rehearsed it. How many times did you rehearse that presentation? And you just didn't. That wasn't the first time even when you presented, it wasn't the first time I saw it.
Yeah.
Your group always improved too. You know, it was Kate was like you. She would always come to me and say, "Oh, how can we do better? How can we do this better?" You know. So she blew them away. And even if she doesn't get the internship, you know what I mean? You just got some more experience presenting. You know, it's their loss.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, Julian. Talk to you later.
Yeah. All right.
Bye. Hey, I haven't seen you in so long. It seemed like ages. And I'm not recording.
Oh.
So what's going on? I just wanted to touch base with you just to figure it out.
Yeah, nothing new.
What do you mean?
I had a class before this, my business tech 400, and we were having like technical difficulties. So I had to like meet with my group afterwards. Yeah.
Always technical difficulties, right? You're used to it now. If they tell you, why do you think they pay those people in tech?
True.
You know? Because there's all the time technical difficulties. They want technical difficulties.
Yeah. That's their job.
So whatever happened with that accounting and stuff?
Oh my
What did they
God.
tell
Oh my God. You just reminded me. I forgot I talked to my mom this morning and she was like, because I was going back and forth emailing the head of accounting. And then he was like, oh, like reach out to me in a week because the office is really backed up from Corona. And I was like, okay. And then he never reached out. So then I did a follow-up email. And then he got back and he's like, don't worry, I didn't forget about you. Things are just like crazy. And then I was like, okay, so I don't know if I should reach out again because I don't want to be annoying.
What did they tell you? What were you asking for?
He said that he was going to try to like pull some strings so that I can do some summer classes so that I could go abroad. But and those would be virtual because he was like, the only reason that this is even possible is because of Corona and like.
Yeah, well, it should be. I mean, what audacity do they have to tell you even that?
I know.
You know what I mean? And you're not just some schmo, and you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No, I know.
It's stupid.
Yeah, I feel like it shouldn't be that hard because accounting's so common too. So.
I know. I mean, what did they invent the wheel? You know what I mean? What do they know something? I mean, you can take it in community college, get the same stuff.
Yeah, but I guess I was like, because I had a meeting with him too. Like we like spoke on the phone. Mm-hmm. Daniel Medina.
I don't know.
Whatever. We like spoke on the phone and he was like, I guess like I was like asking like a lot of questions that he wasn't expecting me to ask. And he was like, I can tell your parents are accountants because you're like asking all the questions that an accountant would ask. And I was like, yeah, they made me print out like questions.
No, that's good. You know, don't tell me, you know what I mean? I think they can ramroll you. You know what I mean? It's so ridiculous. Not like you're saying, oh, I want to go to the beach. You know what I mean? Exactly. I don't want to do anything. I want to slack off. You're even doing more. You know, the world is changing in education. If they don't realize that,
yeah,
they're gonna suffer.
I know. You actually just reminded me I should email him tonight.
What?
So you actually just reminded me I should email him again.
Yeah,
either tonight or tomorrow.
Tell him you need to make a decision. You know, you need to know. Or don't you need to know?
Yeah, I mean, because the reason I needed to know, I told you before, was I had to sign a lease. So I needed to know like where I was going to be living, if it was the 6 months or the 12 months.
Yeah, just tell them to start off with that. I'm sorry to bother you, but this is, you know, life is like this. You know, I got a lease here. I need to make a decision. And it seems, and I'd even make it more positive. I'm sure you could, you know, something about you can work it out. You'll have a solution. And you're just assuming that this is going to be how. You know what I mean? Don't have to be nasty about it, but this is what you're assuming it will be.
Yeah. No, I will not be nasty about it.
No, but I mean, it's just such a given. I would be upset. You know.
Yeah, I'm upset, but I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I know, but you don't have to show them. But I'm just telling you that.
Yeah, no,
it's outrageous. But other than that, how are your other classes?
Pretty good. I've been playing around with VirtualBox and Business Tech 400. I never knew what it even was. I was like so confused. But so we've been doing that. That's what we were having.
I want to do it in this class too.
You actually should. So I thought it was so cool, but I'm still like learning that. And then I'm trying to think that this and my Business Tech 400 are the only business tech classes I'm taking this semester. But yeah.
Okay, so that virtual that's where it is now. And all of the accounting. Yeah, they're behind too. You know what I mean? They need to get their act together, all of the accounting. It's all going to be virtual.
Yeah.
It's auditing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's not going to be. I told you that EY spent last year $1 billion with a B, traveling, sending all their people around the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's done.
$1 billion. Can you imagine how much they're saving?
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of it. You know, I know what these people do. They get in fancy hotels and they get all their meals and they, you know, and they schmooze and they do this. And how much could you actually do remotely?
Yeah.
Be efficient, you know, and then you find efficient ways, and then the whole world. And you just have to have the skills with the tech. That's where it's going to be. They're not going to get in all the automation and the robotic processing. That's where it's gonna be. And all those mundane kind of things that people do, you don't need people to do it. You want the computers to do it, and you want to do the, more intellectual work of it.
Yeah.
And they need the backup and all of that. Okay, good. So everything else is good. Everybody's healthy, and that's it. So how's it in the lakeside over there? Everybody's so excited about it.
We actually have to get tested like once every week, so I have to get tested tomorrow. But yeah, I had it October, so I can get it again technically. Fingers crossed.
How much is it? It was for a while. It was like crazy over there, spreading like I guess the fraternities. And are you in the sorority?
Yeah, I am in the sorority.
And how's that going? Because they had all that bad press, the fraternities and the sorority, and
crazy. I know. It's fine. It's hectic, but it's fine.
Okay. Just don't be stupid.
Yeah, I know.
I know it's so tempting, but when you're around stupid people act even more stupid.
Yeah, I get that text from my parents like every day.
Really?
Yeah.
No, but it's so inviting. You know what I mean? It's hard. All those but okay. They must be. But your parents are cool about it. No, they sent you there.
Oh, they're so cool.
Out?
What'd you say?
Your parents aren't freaking out. I mean, they can trust you.
No, yeah, they're really cool. I'll just get a text every once in a while saying, "Don't be stupid," but that's it.
Yeah, no, but it's easy to. You know what I mean? I saw those pictures. Did you see the Miami hurricane? I saw those pictures.
Miami. I saw them all.
You know what I mean? I'm sure you see more than I see.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? It's just like the excitement of being stupid.
I know.
You know what? It'll be like, I guess everybody kind of feels like they want to be herd immunity. I heard it like, you know what I mean? But a couple. What percentage really have it already of the students? It's probably high.
It's probably high, yeah, but I don't have an exact number.
Yeah, but I mean, just think about how many students, and in this class, I got a lot of those letters. A lot of people even look sick. I don't know.
Yeah.
I get a lot of that. Okay, all right. So if you need to reach out for anything else, but
thank you.
Yeah, send them another email.
Yeah, I will.
Lease is coming up.
Right.
All right.
Thank you. I'll see you on Wednesday.
Ciao.
Thank you.